Hey friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if this is your first time joining me, hi, hello, I'm so happy to have you. My name is Jessie and today we're going to be working on an eco lifestyle lot renovation. I've honestly wanted to share this build with you guys for quite some time. I built this lot back in, I think it was like August, and I built this on my own on Discord. I was hanging out with my friends one weekend looking for something to do, and I thought I'd give this lot a try at renovation because it's honestly kind of intimidating but also kind of satisfying in the fact that you can come in and completely renovate it and clean up the lot and make it something that it could be, because right now it's just a cement block and a bit of an eyesore honestly for this area, especially once all the upgrades happen and the world started to look really beautiful again and really green and modern. I feel like then it becomes a really big eyesore, and so I wanted to come in and give this lot a facelift that it obviously so desperately needed. So that's what I have for you today. And this lot is kind of a little close to home because it kind of looks like a lot that we have here in Cape Town. It's also called the Waterfront, if you know that this lot is called the Waterfront. And we have a place over here. It's mainly like for tourists. It's a shopping mall over here called the Waterfront, but it's got this attachment called the Watershed. And this lot looks exactly like the Watershed. And especially when you renovate it, when you upgrade it in the game, it turns yellow. And the Watershed over here in Cape Town, it's bright yellow too. It looks like a giant shipping container. And so when I saw this lot at first, I was really taken aback and I was like, wow, that looks exactly like something we have over here. So I wanted to come in and renovate this and give it the facelift that it needed, and basically just also model it after a place over here called the Biscuit Mill. And the exterior is more based on the Waterfront lot and the interior is more based on the Biscuit Mill. The Biscuit Mill is a market that happens over here in Cape Town. I think it's on Saturdays. It's been a long time since I've been there, but I used to work at the Biscuit Mill on the weekends, and I used to sell skincare for this beautifully lovely lady, and basically all my friends worked there as well, and it was just a really chill place to be on a Saturday. It hardly even felt like work honestly, because I had all my friends there. I had this bottle of hand lotion. It had like a little pump on it, and my job was to walk around and offer people lotion all day and basically just sell them skincare, which I actually used. There was an avocado cream that I used to use all the time, and this lotion that I used to hand out smelled extremely strong of like lemongrass, and I would smell like lemongrass I think for like the entire Saturday, Sunday. I think I started to phase only by the Monday. So I have some really fond memories of working at the Biscuit Mill, and half of the Biscuit Mill was kind of like a marketplace, the other half was sort of a food market, and you could get all different kinds of food over there. I know on like Saturday mornings, my friends and I would always go to the bakery section because they had all their fresh pastries on a Saturday morning, and we would always get first dibs, and we would kind of like walk around and while everybody was sitting up, we would walk around and sort of reserve our lunch. So because we didn't have time to really leave our booths unmanned, because the booths that we were working at was kind of like one-man shows. You were responsible for your booth and you had to be there at all times, or ask the person at the next booth to watch for you. And so we would reserve our lunch because we didn't have time to sit down and run and wait in lines. So we did that on Saturday mornings, and they had like live bands come out and artists that came out. There was always live music playing. It was such a fun place to hang out. So I have fond memories of the Biscuit Mill, and that's kind of where the inspiration for the inside of this lot came from. So I hope you guys do like this lot. It is available on my gallery. There is actually two versions of this lot on my gallery. There is this version that I'm building now, which is called version 2, and there's the original one that I built back in August. Because I had built this lot originally when I was hanging out with my friends one weekend on Discord. I was bored, I was looking for something to do, and I just decided to try my hand at this lot. So I had already done it and I decided to redo it for a video so I could bring it to you guys and you guys could see how I went through renovating this lot. And it was fun coming back the second time because I knew there were certain things I wanted to change, things I wanted to do just a little bit differently, things I wanted to include, things I wanted to exclude. And talking about what's included in this lot, there is quite a lot. I'll read you. I had to write it out, everything's included in this lot because it is that much. There is a marketplace, a gym, a fabricator area, a candle and juice fizzing area. There is a painter, like art area. There is a robot making station from university. There is a community garden. There's a chess area. There's a Howley area, insects, and a community garden. There are, I think, 4 food trucks on this lot total. I think there's like 3 on the first floor and 1 on the roof, which we'll get to near the end of the video. We've got full bathrooms, a yoga area which overlooks the water, which I would love to visit. We've got a computer area, recyclers. We've even got a daycare, and we've got a kitchen with a cupcake machine. And that was something big that I wanted to fit in here, was a cupcake machine, because I never ever get to fit that cupcake machine in anywhere. So it was a big thing for me to try and fit it in here. And I'm really happy with how everything came out. Originally, when I tried this lot back in, I think it was August, and my first attempt, I was trying to use walls to divide up the space because it's so large and open, and I didn't want everything to just kind of be standing around and having all these activities all over the place and not having some sort of like structure and just having things just staggered everywhere and scattered everywhere. Basically, I ended up using platforms to divide up the space, and if you use platforms, you know how tricky they can be sometimes and infuriating they can be. So my kind of hack and way around it is just using fences to draw it out. It was much easier than using walls to try and divide the space, and it just made the whole process go through a lot smoother. I won't say there was like no problems, because it is platforms in The Sims and we all know how tricky those can be, but for the most part they behaved and I was able to divide the lot up. There isn't actually a ton of stairs in this lot, basically just from the outside into the lot, and then to go obviously to the second floor there's stairs. But between all the platforms, I was trying to stagger them, that you stepped up to one and then down one, and using that kind of flow I was able to make all these different levels that connected to each other, but they were quite vastly different in different heights, like right next to each other, but there's no stairs in between, which I thought was really cool. You can see here I worked on making a little Instagram wall. So I took the flower boxes from Eco Lifestyle, sized them up and stuck them up against the wall because I needed a sort of like divider between the marketplace and that area. So I decided to put up an Instagram wall, and you'll see I put some cute chairs there later. Perfect for your Sims that want to take some, what's it called? I think it's called Simstagram in the game. I'm not sure, but just in case your Sim likes taking selfies, that area does exist for that reason. I even end up going back and adding some really cute pink chairs. I think they are from the City Living pack, if I'm not mistaken, and I think I used them in quite a few different places in this build. And you can see I'm just trying to figure out like the stairs. Something that was happening with this lot was the stairs sometimes, and I've noticed this with platforms recently, and I hadn't noticed it before, was sometimes when you raise up platforms, stairs won't clip to it. They won't automatically attach to it. And it's really frustrating because sometimes you just can't add stairs and you need to take the platform all the way down and then raise it all the way back up to where it was, and then it will work. I don't know what that glitch is about, but it is something I'm noticing a lot more because I'm starting to build a lot more with platforms now. A lot of my builds are like the medium wall height and just using platforms to make it a bit shorter inside, make the wall height a bit shorter inside. I don't know, I like having platforms in my builds now because it gives a little bit more realism that your houses aren't like completely flat, because that isn't the case normally. Here I am working on the fabricator area. Something cute that I noticed is the fabricators, there are these little tables from Biscuit, and they match the fabricators perfectly. There's a swatch for each fabricator, and so I just paired them up with their colors, and I added some clutter. I wanted this place to feel like there was people working here, and it was like kind of lived in, but it was also something that your Sims could still use. It was still functional. It wasn't like too over cluttered, but I didn't just want to place machines and no decorations and have it look really, I don't know, really strange and empty. So I went into debug and I got this little debug item where it's like all these metal materials, and I got it from Get to Work, and I just sized that down and it looked really appropriate next to the fabricators. And I used some dies and plans and that from the debug menu and just put those on the tables to make it look like somebody had just been working there, and I really like it. A pack that I didn't expect to really like and use in this build was the industrial Loft Kit. Here you can see I'm even using the duck version, the duck item from the kit, to kind of just add more of that industrial feeling. I added lots of like exposed pipes and exposed archways. You can even see I used it looks like a metal archway, and I just sized that down, and I use it in a lot of different arches throughout this build. I use it as the entryway into the lot. I use it as the entryway into the arch into the main area inside this build. I just think it works really well, and especially with the sofas that came with this pack, I think everything just works really well together, and it just kind of captures the flow. Originally I think I was using the Eco Lifestyle, like what is the fabricator furniture, the 3-seater debug sofa is what I was using originally, and it worked, but I feel like the industrial Loft Kit just works a little bit better here. Here we've moved on to the juice making station, and there's also a candle making station, and I'm going again into the debug menu to try and pull out lots of different items and boxes. I think it's really cool that we can go into the debug and get all these boxes and all these juice bottles to like kind of clutter up this area. I feel like the person that's working at this station is really messy. The other station isn't as bad, but this station is really messy. I think this person is probably running a business out of here slyly. I don't think that's allowed. I think that might be against the community lost rules, but I think they are running a bit of like a side hustle out of here, because you don't make that many juice fizzes for no apparent reason. So maybe there's a sim in this community that's using this lot and using this lot for their own business in their own game. But I really like how it all came together, and a big thing for me was I wanted to make a lot where your Sims could come to this lot and everything they needed for the most part was on this lot, because it gets really annoying when you're trying to do different things and learn different skills and you need to travel to different lots and there's all those loading screens in between. It can get really annoying. So I wanted to make something that you only needed to load one lot, you only needed to go to one lot, and it had everything you needed, but it was also aesthetically pleasing. So we've even got the candle station over here. I feel like somebody's running some kind of plopsy business over here, and they've got tons and tons of candles. I have never actually used the candle making career or activity in my game, and when I pulled out all the different shapes candles, I really like them. I think they're really cute. I need to use them more in my builds, but I don't know, I always seem to forget them. You'll see that I used that plant from, I think it's the Courtyard Oasis kit. I use all the big plants in this build. The ones from Paranormal, I think it's Island Living, and the Courtyard Oasis. All the really big plants that you normally don't get to use. I used so many of them in this build because I thought if there's one build I can fit everything into, it's going to be this one. And what I did with a lot of them also is I changed the vase. You can see here, this is the plant from Paranormal, and I just took a vase from Island Living and just combined the two to just change up the look just a little bit. but I used all the big plants because I never get to use them, and this just felt like the perfect space. But here I'm working on the painter area, artist area, if you want to call it that, and just stacking canvases. I like the idea that in this lot, in this community lot, maybe there is like an app, like a system where you can sign up, and different parts of the marketplace, different parts of the community lot work at different times of the week. So maybe there's a painting class on a Wednesday morning and a yoga class on a Thursday morning and a Tuesday morning, and Mondays are reserved for cooking classes and master classes in the kitchen area. I like the idea that this space is functional all week long and there's different activities happening at different times, and it just makes it I wish that we had something like that in The Sims, where we could have these skill classes and make the classrooms and make the areas where your Sims could go, and there would be like a little, almost like the hostess podium from Diner, where your Sim could go and click on it and they could teach the lesson, or they could learn the lesson and the NPC would show up and they would teach your Sim the lesson. Is that a mod already? If it is a mod and you know about it, please let me know, because I would really like that. And if it's not a mod, can somebody please make it? Somebody please call up a mod creator and please ask him to make that, because I feel like that kind of mod would go so well with a lot like this. I don't know, there's just so many mods I would love in The Sims, and I feel like whenever I'm doing voiceovers, for whatever reason, I'm always coming up with mods that I would love to have in The Sims. I wish that I had somebody like a modding friend that I could go to and ask. My partner is trying to make CSC, so I can't bother him for some custom content, but I can't bother him for mods because I feel like mods are really tricky to make. They must require like a lot of coding knowledge, and I don't know, I wouldn't even know where to start in that kind of realm in modding this game. I don't understand it at all, and my favorite modder is Twisted Mexi, and I couldn't build without Twisted Mexi's mods. The better built by the tool mod, the move objects on mod. Can we just speak about how convenient the move objects on mod is? Having it always on, I didn't think it would be such like a big difference, but oh my word, I can't build without it now. It is like one of my top mods, well, my top 3 mods that I use. I don't know, there are just certain things that you just kind of need when you're building. I borrowed my partner's computer for, I think it was like 2-3 weeks, and I installed all the Sims on his computer, and I had to download the mods, and for whatever reason, I don't know why, but I completely forgot that you're supposed to enable script mods. When you start up your game and you install mods into your game, you're supposed to go into your options and you're supposed to enable script mods. I completely forgot about that for some reason, and I spent an hour trying to figure out why Better Build By wasn't working. I kept restarting the game, putting it on, loading it up, says it was installed incorrectly, and eventually I left the computer, and when I came back I was like, oh, I'm supposed to put the script mod on. So yeah, even when I built on somebody else's computer, the first thing I did after installing the packs was to go fetch my favorite mods. And it just shows sometimes old habits die hard, and you just can't build without your favorite mods anymore. At least in my case, I know that's true. But here you can see I have made the downstairs bar area. I ended up using the Strangerville bar just because it's covered in stickers. It's got like the corrugated iron. It just kind of fit a little bit better. I know we have so many bars, but we don't have an Eco Lifestyle bar, like one that's covered in like greenery and like grass and foliage and things like that, like the ivy wall that I use behind the Instagram wall, kind of like that, like hedges. That's the word I'm looking for, not ivy. I'm looking for the word hedges. Kind of like the hedges, and I would kind of really like a bar like that. I know we have so many, and we honestly need different things in the game, but that would have fit really well. But thankfully I had the one from Strangerville that I could use here. This is going to be the marketplace down here where your Sims can come and bring their goods that they are making and they can sell them over here, possibly for like a 200% markup maybe. I don't judge, but this is where they can sell everything. And also it's really useful if you're just coming over here to use a few different items. It's always useful to just look over at the market because the NPCs will bring things to sell, and sometimes you can get some pretty cool things over here at the market. I know when I use this, because I use this lot so much on my Twitch channel, when I'm playing my 100 baby or I'm playing my legacy challenge, I'm always coming back to this lot for things. And I don't know, it's really useful to have the option to buy some rare items. I think after that, my favorite place to go for rare items is probably Henford on Bagley. I don't know what it is. I'm always waiting for Agnes Crumplebottom to have a golden hatchable egg. That's a completely separate rant about my 100 baby challenge. I keep waiting for... I've been playing that save for... since last year. And I'm still waiting for a golden egg since the Cottage Living came out. I've been waiting for the golden egg to appear in the shop at Agnes Crumplebottom's store in that gameplay, and I'm still waiting, and I have now moved out of my farm, but that's a completely separate video I'm talking about. If you want to join and come watch me tear my hair out while I'm raising 100 babies, you can join me on my Twitch channel. I'll have it linked in the description box, but it's just basically my YouTube name, and you can just come and hang out. And I stream. Well, my stream schedule's a little funny at the moment, honestly, because I just got back from a health crisis for the past like 2 months, so I'm not totally sure what my channel is, but you can join my Discord and find out there. Wow, this is a lot of shameless plug. I didn't mean for this to turn into a plug session. Anyway, here I'm trying to figure out how I want the kitchen area to be, because this is where I wanted to add an industrial kitchen and where I wanted to add the cupcake machine, but it took me a little bit before I could figure out where I wanted the cupcake machine to fit into this build. And I gotta say, the Swatch update that we got, when was it? It was like a few months ago at this point. I love the Swatch update. I'm using these counters that came with the new Swatch update, and man, they fit so perfectly into this build. I was going to use the Dream Home Decorator ones, but they just didn't fit the aesthetic I was going for. This fit the aesthetic a little bit better. Even though this kitchen is small, I imagine there's some kind of like small, like really small masterclass situation that happens here where you can come learn to cook certain foods. I imagine there's a lot of vegetarians living in the Eco Lifestyle world, Evergreen Harbour. No hate, I'm a vegetarian myself, but I imagine there's a lot of classes on how to cook tofu 100 ways, which is a class I would be interested in taking, honestly, because I don't even know how to cook tofu one way. But that's a completely separate conversation, my lack of cooking skills. And here we moved on into the daycare. I wanted to add a daycare into this lot because I was thinking about how your Sims often have kids, and your kids also need some entertainment. They also need to get out of the house sometimes, and they also have skills that they have to kind of increase. And so I made a daycare. It's got an art table. It's got the puppet box, the puppet show thing from the kids' room stuff, I think. And I don't often use this puppet show thing, mainly because I always forget about it. But I remembered it this time because I started just looking for things to fill up this room. And I gotta say, the color scheme of this room is really light colors, and I don't know how this would fare with children, but good luck. And speaking of good luck, I added a fire hazard into this room. There it is. It's the science table, and if you don't know, the science table catches on fire quite a lot, and I forgot to add a fire system into this lot. So if you do play on this lot, good luck with that. Your children are going to burn this place down to the ground, I promise you. So you might, if you play with this lot, you might want to add a fire prevention system or some kind of smoke detector or something. And I even had space to add that giant tent from the Dream Home Decorator series. I have been trying to add that into every build. It's such a massive thing. I wish that we could even got like just like a 2-tile one, or like, yeah, like a 2-tile one where it just had the sticks and it had just like a blanket wrapped around it, like a small simple teepee. It didn't have to be this really big 4-tile one. Although I do use it a lot in my 100 Baby Challenge, because it honestly makes your toddler skills go up so fast. So if you have a toddler that you're struggling to get their skills up, that would be the item to get them, because the imagination skill just kind of rises really, really quickly when you're using that tent. And I've also noticed that with the toddler slide is that the movement skill goes up really, really quickly. I think there are just certain items that they add like extra buffs in, especially with the newer packs. I feel like there's gotta be like a coding thing where they just code it like maybe it goes up like 1.5 speed or 1.7 speed when you use this item, because that thing is my favorite thing in my 100 Baby Challenge. I am loving it. It's in all my builds and I don't know where I'd be without it. But here I'm working on kind of like the lounge area is what I'd call it, like the DJ area, because we got the DJ booth over there. I even added a rocking chair in. I don't know if I keep that rocking chair, honestly. I hope I do, because that would be a lot of fun. But I wanted to make this area like really casual and hippie. I imagine like, I'm thinking like evening time, like twilight time, and you and your friends are hanging out here. You've got your juices with you, you know, the Sims family friendly juice story, and you've got your juices with you and you're just hanging out. The air is nice and crisp. It's summertime. That just sounds like the perfect Saturday, Sunday evening. I think maybe more Sunday afternoon and Saturday evening. But the Dream Home Decorator, the movie hangout couches came in real handy with this build. I use them everywhere and they kind of just had the right aesthetic, the right vibe that I was going for with this build. It was like really cute but also really hippie at the same time. And I used the Spa Day candle dividers, the candle walls, to kind of just separate the areas, make them just a little bit more private. Although you do kind of have to walk through the other people's sitting area to get to the other one. But I don't know, I still really like it, and I imagine this would be a nice fun place to come and hang out on the weekend. As well as there are so many different places to get food here. Like I mentioned, there are 3 food trucks on the first floor and 1 on the roof. There's also the kitchen. Something I am realizing is I didn't include a grill in the slot, and that's quite unfortunate, but I don't think you need one considering how many different food vendors there are. I think there's like a ramen one and I know there's a coffee one, but I don't know what the other 2 are. One of them is the food truck that came with Eco Lifestyle. I don't know, the food trucks just felt like they made the most sense as the food options to be in this area. And I included a lot of different like table seating, because that's quite important when you have this many different food stations. I know there was another market I worked at called the Mojo Market, and it had so many different food stalls, and it was a cute market. But the issue was there wasn't enough seating ever. And there were people that would have to just stand around and eat their food standing around. So I want to include just a lot of different seating. I know it's not realistic for the Sims. I mean, your Sims, they don't need somewhere, and there's never going to be enough Sims in this lot to use up every single seating option. Especially once I get to the roof and you see how many chairs I included on the roof. But I don't know, I just wanted to include it, and I was kind of struggling with the idea of what I wanted the kind of area to look like downstairs, and especially with the dining chairs and the coloring. I go back quite a lot. I cut it out, but I go back quite a lot to it to try and change the coloring and find out what I really like. But here we've moved on to the second floor, and I'm using fencing again to sort of map out the area and the sizing that I want to use, and just mark out the platforms, because it just makes life a lot easier when you use fences instead of walls for your platforms. But I also included a bridge on this lot. On this floor. I included a bridge, and it's also on a platform. It's also a little bit higher, and I don't know, I thought it looked pretty cute to have it raised up a little bit. I would ideally maybe put a higher banister on it if there was an option to have like a mid-rise banister, but there wasn't, so oh well. But here I also changed the banisters that I was using, the fencing that I've been using the entire build. Originally I was using that really industrial one, but I switched over to this wood one because it matched the floors that I was using. And let me tell you, since doing this lot, these floors have become my favorite very quickly. I use them now in almost all my builds. They have such a good like light swatch on them, and I don't know, they just look so rustic and like really pretty. But this is the yoga area, and you can see it overlooks the water, and this just seems like such a chill place, especially like early in the morning, to just come and do yoga, and you just have like that crisp ocean air. I know our ocean, I'm basing this over like my experience where I live, but our ocean is extremely clean over here. We don't have much pollution, and the smell of the sea salt is a very strong. I live possibly about 15-minute drive from the nearest ocean, and when the breeze blows right over here, I can smell the ocean very clearly from where I am. And it is about a 15-minute drive on the freeway, so I do live a little ways away. So I don't know, I just think it would be a really pleasant place to come and do yoga, especially with how clean the air is, and also imagine like how cold the air would be. And it just reminds me of home, kind of. I think that's my attachment to the slot. It just reminds me a lot of home. And here I also included a computer area, and I wanted to include a computer area. I didn't include a research machine from the one from university. I didn't include one of those in here. I actually forgot. So you can delete one of the computers if you want to and replace it with a research machine if you need to, if you have a sim that needs that. But basically I just wanted to include a computer area, so if your sims needed one. But I do wish I had space for more computers, because for whatever reason, every time I try and load into a world and into a library or whatever to try and use a computer, Mortimer Goth has beat me there. And I think the guy has enough money to afford his own private computer at home, but for some reason he's always hogging all the computers, and it's really annoying, honestly. So I included 3 over here. Hopefully that's enough for you to kind of hog one and get done what you need to get done. But I think the computers maybe not are the safest out here, because it is open to the elements, and if it is to rain, isn't it an Eco Lifestyle this acid rain from the smog? So the computers are unfortunately exposed to the elements, but thankfully it's the Sims and that doesn't quite matter. You can see just past the bridge over there, I included a little bit of graffiti on the wall. I imagine that they get local artists to come out and professionally paint the wall, paint like graffiti on, and maybe like every few months they go over and they paint over it and commission a new artist to just keep the art rolling, employ new artists, get new people discovered, that kind of situation. And I don't know, I thought it was really cute. I do go back in the screenshots and change the art that I put on the wall originally, although I can't remember what I changed it to. I changed it like a week ago when I started editing this video, and I went to take the screenshots. That's when I changed it. So it's going to be a surprise to both me and you when we get to the screenshots what I chose to put on that wall. But in this room I wanted to add a gym, just because they felt like there was everything else on the slot, but there wasn't a gym. So I included one really quickly, and it came out really simple. This room was really small and I was trying to fit everything in, and that one machine off to the corner on the right hand side, it's a little tough to kind of fit that in, but I think I made it work. And I included a fridge, I included towels and water and lockers, and right across from it, right across the bridge, is the bathrooms. I included full bathrooms with lockers because maybe, I don't know, maybe Sims are going to go gymming, maybe they're going to do yoga, maybe they intend on living here full time. I don't know, up to you. Maybe they're going to go scratch through the trash, and maybe they just need a fresh change of clothes. And so I included some lockers from, I think it's Spa Day or the Snowy Escape Pack, one of the two, the Manco Merebe pack. I included some lockers because I just felt like it was appropriate and needed, and I included full bathrooms in here. There's a walk-in shower, a toilet, and a sink. And I wanted this area to feel really modern, and this was also a good place to put the bathroom because on the other side of this wall, on the exterior, I have that decoration. I don't know what it is. It's just a decoration that I have on the outside, so I could have put windows here in any case. So it just kind of worked out that that happened to be the perfect spot to put the bathrooms. And especially with the fact that I was trying very hard to not change any of the walls in this build. And over here upstairs I have some more seating. I imagine this is a quieter place to have a cup of coffee. You can still people watch because the windows are there, and you can also see the ocean from there, but maybe it's just a more quiet place to go and hang out and have coffee and maybe just have a private conversation. And maybe it's just like away from everybody else. I had to use the pipes from the debug menu. Those came in absolute clutch in this build because I was struggling to figure out what to put on all the walls. But I went through debug, just searched up pipes, and thankfully a lot of different ones came up, different sizes and shapes, and I was able to decorate all the walls with it. And here we're going out to the balcony. I just made a simple seating area out here. Originally I tried to fit a food truck out here and quickly realized that doesn't fit and it also doesn't look right. So I just added a seating area over here, and then I added some recyclers. And these recyclers come in like a bright happy yellow. If you don't know, yellow is my favorite color next to purple. I would say yellow is my favorite, and these came in such a happy yellow color, so I had to include them in the yellow color. And then I added some crates around it and just a few more like debug decoration items. You can see I'm putting more pipes on the walls. The pipe placement doesn't always make sense, but we're just gonna go ahead and ignore it. And I'm just adding some more greenery, some more potted plants, just trying to kind of decorate the place and give it a bit more life. Right before we move upstairs to the roof, here you can see I'm placing down some glass tiles. So these are the glass tiles from Island Living, and I definitely wanted to include them because if you see, that square is actually the same size square that is right over the first floor, so you can look from the top floor right down to the first floor and see everybody that's down there, and you can see the bridge and everything. The issue is that I had to go back and delete the glass flooring again because for some reason, and I don't know why this is you can't place things on top of the glass flooring because it clips through, it goes through the glass flooring and goes to whatever surface is below it. So that's really annoying. So I had to delete it and decorate and then come back and re-add it back in. But here, in any case, I'm working on the community garden area. I definitely wanted to include a little bit of everything over here in this lot. So over here we have the gardening area. And I really like how it came out. I use all the hydroponic planters, so you sometimes don't have to worry about taking care of them. I included a few vertical ones as well, just for a little bit of variety. And you sometimes can go like meat walls and things like that, which I still find extremely unsettling, is the meat wall situation. I don't know whose idea that was, but that's unsettling. I also added an insect area. There's bee houses, so you can get your bee wax for your candles. There is also the pot plants over here, and you can put like, what is it, like crickets and beetles, and I think there might be like a worm as well you can add into those little bug boxes. I'm not sure, I don't often play with those things. I might have to include it in one of my playthroughs on Twitch. But over here I'm adding another bar area, and this is going to be the final bar area for the lot. Thankfully there's one on the top floor, one on the bottom floor, so you don't have to like walk too far if you want your Sims to practice their mixology skill or maybe get some more drinks or whatever. You don't have to walk too far. Yeah, I'm adding some more seating, more tables, and I wanted to vary the tables quite a bit to have some that are 2-seater, some that are 4-seater, but I was struggling to get them to fit and also try and get them to fit within that rectangle because I wanted them to sit over the glass, and I thought that would look really cute, especially from the screenshots above. And if you're playing in this world, I thought that would look really cute. So I was struggling to sort of get everything to fit. I also fight with the color swatches quite a lot here. I struggled with the color swatches, but eventually I do make up my mind, and I think they stay all one color. I was trying to mix and match and make it look a bit more, I don't know, thrown together, kind of like this Hubley station is. I put a pergola. Is it a pergola or is it a pergola? Let me know. But I put one of those over the Hubley station, And so I'm thinking maybe if it's too hot, maybe the sun's beating down, your Sims can still come and enjoy their hubbly over here without having to worry about the sun. And I also added some over the seating area, and I don't know, I like how it looks, and it seems a little bit more practical than just having everything open, because I could imagine, especially if this is anything like where I live, the sun gets extremely hot and you gotta be really careful when you are outside over here. So I just added some more of those coverings, pergola. Please let me know how you say it. I'm not sure. I think it's pergola. I'm gonna say pergola. But I added a few of those. I used the industrial loft couches all over the upstairs area as I tried to figure out the layout, because I imagine this would be kind of the place to hang out because you're a little bit above everybody else. You've got the bar. I imagine you can still hear the DJ quite clearly up here, and I don't know, it seems like a vibe up here, honestly, because you've got the hubbly as well. So you and your friends can wander over to the hubbly, you can wander over to the food truck and go get snacks, and you've got the bar there so you can get fresh juices. And maybe it's also the juices that the people are fizzing downstairs. I don't know. But that brings us to the end of the speed build and up to the screenshots. If you guys have at any point enjoyed the video, please remember to leave a like, comment what you'd like to see me build next, because I'm taking in requests and suggestions. And thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day. Remember to always stay kind to yourselves and one another, and I'll see you in the next build. Bye!